I apologise, the Murloc got loose during that song. He's usually confined to his cage. Unfortunately, he got out using a sort of MacGyver-style combination of a toothpick, 2 elastic bands, and a Linkin Park CD, and proceeded to wreak havoc on the old-school rap community. However, he is back in his cage, and we are back on Blue Please here on WoW Radio with Total Biscuit. Show itself today is going to be slightly shorter than usual, with the whole RP PvP business, and yes, unfortunately, when our community does come in under fire from a different community, we do have to stand up and defend it, and therefore I just haven't had the time I wanted to prepare this show. So I apologise, it is going to be a little less organised and a little shorter than usual. But hopefully that'll be sorted out by next week. And, of course, those listening from Europe, as hopefully there are many. We are getting a lot of listeners tonight, and that's always nice to see. There will be more European shows at European times. As you may be aware, Blue Please recently moved from a 12 midnight to 2 a.m. slot to this slot on a Sunday evening. And quite frankly, that's better for me and better for the Euro guys. And it's only fair, after all, being a Eurocentric show. Those of you who have missed parts of this show, or missed this show in the future, can download the archive from wcradio.com. Those interested in the show and any other shows that WoW Radio does produce, and that does constitute a large number of radio hours, folks. Head over to wcradio.com, click the archive button at the top. All new archives appear on the front page. It's all fantastic. So there are many, many hours of WoW-based entertainment right there, just waiting for you to download. Now, it wouldn't be a show if I weren't to get down on my knees and beg for money. WoW Radio does fund itself, or tries to. It is paid for by a number of WoW Radio staff, mainly Apolis, it has to be said, and we attempt to raise money through donations, selling t-shirts, and the Warecraft Cafe Press store. If you wish and feel the need or the obligation to donate after tonight's show, then you can do so. wcradio.com, click the donate/store button, whichever you wish. The store button will link you to the Blue Please album, which was released recently, which contains a massive amount of features from the Blue Please show and some exclusive stuff on there as well, and that is priced at a more than reasonable $8. And of course, there are loads of WoW-related merchandise items, over 1,000 different products in the World of Warcraft store, and we get a portion of every sale. Right, anyway, yeah, stop begging for money and all that stuff. Back to the matter at hand. We still have Rap in the Forums coming up, and it is a continuation of last week's Rap in the Forums. I'm not going to inflict last week's Rap in the Forums on you, but I will show you the post that it's come from. Anyway, we have had some entrants for the Work As Intended. I knew you lot wouldn't let me down, you never do. So, let's get right on with it. The question this week was, how would you improve Alterac Valley? Now, this one comes from, quote, a panda, also known as Tristan Watson, and nice, short and sweet reply, make more game types with changing objectives. So, we're looking at a team deathmatch-based thing here. Different objectives, different things to do, and not necessarily having the same thing over and over again. Okay, that's certainly a possibility. Jonas Shalonda, also known as Ionas, and I believe it might actually be his birthday. No, is it Ionas's or Ioid's in birthday? I think it is actually Ioid's, yes. Absolutely. I-O-I-I-D. There you go. I think it's his birthday today, and if it is, happy birthday to you, and no, I shall not sing it. No, the Murloc can sing it. Use your imagination, that was in fact happy birthday to you. Anyway, back to the point. Jonas Shalander, also known as Ionas, and yes, it is his birthday, says to improve Alterac Valley to a more epic battleground, Blizzard needs to implement more quests and things to do. Doing these would spawn major assaults that would help you in some minor ways instead of the defensive crap that we are currently in. And that does bring up an interesting point, that there are a lot of nice things in Alterac Valley that are not necessarily used, including the cavalry charges and the wing commanders. A lot of things that aren't necessarily used, and really should. They are there to be used, and people would rather just get out, which is unfortunate. Now, David Cameron, also known as Jack Daniels, says, for an epic battle solution, a specific class and specific profession should have their own roles in the battle. For example, engineers should be able to collect specific components for siege weapons and ranged weapons, and the ability to make ranged weapons for the NPCs. This is a good point, because most of them don't have them, except the ones obviously on top of the battle towers. Another would-be warriors would have to protect and defend wagons, which are crucial for the durability of the fort or the supplies for the NPCs. Good stuff. Rogue Lexi comes up with this idea. For anyone who has played the Tribes games, you'll know what I'm talking about. I might also add here that Battlefield 2 and Savage had similar ways. Adding a overhead map that the commander can use, or in this case the raid leader, for the map, to give others objectives, waypoints, etc. This mode is also in Battlefield 2. I believe this would be a great thing to add to make tactics easier. Although from an RP view, I understand they didn't have GPS in ye old days. True, they did not have GPS in the old days, but doesn't mean there weren't any messengers or things coming to the front lines and from the front lines with information of troop movements, etc, etc. So it doesn't have to be a live, updatable map with the locations of all the enemies on them. No, 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 no. Perhaps it could be time limited. It could be a messenger that will get to you, and perhaps you could kill that messenger and stop the information from getting to your players at the front line. Sokar, also known as Ian Pearson, says, I think AV needs something like the Savage Commander system to direct the different groups to an objective point. This would help having teamwork instead of zerging all the time. Also give the chance and the choice to listen to the commander and give honor rewards and make people want to listen to the commander. Yes, incentives are required, because in general you will find that a lot of PvPers do have this attitude that they are God's gift to the realm and will not listen to anyone other than themselves because they think they are fantastic. Now, it doesn't matter if a commander is bad. It's better to have a badly organised but organised bad idea than have a simple Zergfest. A Zergfest in itself is a bad idea. An organised bad idea is better than an unorganised bad idea. At least you'll all fall together. That's the way it should go. I would agree with pretty much everything that has been said so far, but you still have time to get your suggestions in. themurloc@gmail.com. How would you improve the way that Alterac Valley is actually played? And I think it does involve a lot of coercion. A nice shove in the right direction for our players. Incentives are required. We tend to find that in games where there are no incentives for following the commander's viewpoint, they generally will not follow it. This includes Battlefield 2 as a prime example, where there is a commander system, but you will find that a lot of people will not get into squads and be involved in the commander system because they would rather run around on their own and get frags, because they're racking up their kills. And it is unfortunate that perhaps the honour system is counterproductive when attempting to organise anything that isn't a Zergfest. In general, people would actually prefer a 4-hour stalemate because they can get more honour kills, even with diminishing returns, rather than a sweeping, decisive victory. Although they do get an honour reward for that. It's unfortunate, but that is the way that some gamers are going. I'm hoping the Arathi Basin is going to change that. You're not going to be able to Zerg on this Arathi Basin. There are going to be 5 resource points to capture, but only 15 people at your disposal. Zerg 1 point after another, and you'll end up losing to the team that gets more points than you do. Yeah, you've got 1 point. Oh, we've got 4. You lose. GG. K, thanks, bye, no reply. And that's the way it works. And I hope that this is going to be a new beginning for the Battlegrounds. The Warsong Gulch is not especially tactical, but I'd say it's certainly more tactical than AV. And that's just simply the way Capture the Flag is. You can't do a Quake-style Capture the Flag where one person runs in, grabs the flag, and gets out due to skill. No, it is not a skill-based game. You do need your force organised and running towards a common goal in order to get that flag and get it to your headquarters. Arathi Basin is going to be very interesting, and it'll be certainly a way to separate the men from the boys as far as strategy and tactics goes. Most definitely. I'm hoping it will be a new beginning for tactical PvP in World of Warcraft, because let's face it, did it ever really exist in the first place? Only in the respect of guilds who go and join AV en masse, and then WTF, pwn everybody because they are on TeamSpeak. That is not because they are better strategists, that's because they are using some strategy. There was a phrase from a not-so-well-known short story that said, "In the country of the blind, the one-eyed man is king." That basically means if you're in a group of zergless, leaderless morons, even the slightest spark of leadership, organisation and inspiration will win the day. And that is demonstrated over and over again by organised guilds on TeamSpeak who get into Alterac Valley en masse and destroy the whole place over and over again. So is it a system-based problem? Maybe. Is it a person-based problem? Maybe. There are so many different variables, and it's whether or not you can encourage people to play Battlegrounds in a strategic manner, rather than zerg about and on a farm, which many are doing right now. It's a very questionable thing. I would ask our current role players listening at the moment how their Battlegrounds are played. If you have a comment on that, email themurloc@gmail.com and I shall be reading it out on air. How are your Battlegrounds played? Do you play it in the way as intended? Do you go and get the wing commanders, fight bravely for the epic quests, and create a background story? Well, you don't even need to create a background story, there already is one. And fight in a battle-style manner, rather than in a PvP style on a farming Zergfest manner. If you are an RPer and you do have extensive Battleground experience, or any Battleground experience at all, email themurloc@gmail.com with your experiences. I'd be interested to hear it, and no doubt the listeners would too. Now, another feature of this show is something we like to call rapping the forums. Some people don't like rapping the forums, and it's not entirely surprising because it's silly. It's a British man who is rapping the forums. We take a terrible post and make an even worse rap out of it, simply to mock it for comic effect. But it's not going anywhere, so this is continued from last week. We had a large post, which I'm going to post for you, if I can find it, on the WC Radio chat channel, so that you can read along. Oh dear, I can't find the post. That's unfortunate, but this is continued from last week, and if you do want to hear the way it was done last week, and the post that this continues on from, then download the Blue Please archive from last week. Okay, here we go, it's rapping the forums on WoW Radio. Cover your ears.
Last time on Rapping the Forums.
Firework exploits because they broke my poof button. I am like, WTF, my I-win button is broke, and he laughs at me. So I'm like, WTF, Pongy, I are a rogue, and I could pwn you with a pair of plastic safety scissors. And now, the conclusion. But he can't do nothing because I'm invisible and he can't see me, so he celebrates the occasion with more fireworks than I am telling my buddy John. This guy is odd, he is celebrating about me stealing his gun, and he's yelling like, Pokey, you f***ing noob, give me my gun back. So I get guarded because rogues are uber, but he hacks, so I drop the gun and he run, but I shut the murder back, and I had cause gunshots hurt and he get honor from shooting me enter backs. Then his finger wiggler named Anastasia come up and dances on my body, and I'm like, OMG, WTF, she is so hot. And she's like, hey baby, how would you like a little flask of mojo? And I'm like, no thanks, I like pie. So you're really a girl in Arville? She says, yup, with sexy blonde hair too. And I'm like, yeah, and chances are you're like 300 pounds and smell like sausage. And she's like, no, I don't smell like sausage. So I say, but you're 300 pounds, Anastasia is ignoring you. So I sees my gilded EK is in WSG with his wife, Mitsukai, and they are getting ponage cause they got no roads, and he's fighting like his mate. He's telling the guild, my wife is a sheep, and I'm like, you from Tennessee too? Right, then get this tell from Brack, and he says, Pokey, come join us in the Molten Core. And I'm like, dude, OMW, let me run to the bank and get my snowballs and Super Soaker. And he's like, huh? Well, just worry up. And I'm like, you're not the boss of me. So I get to Molten Core and realise I forgot my pants at the bank. Exclamation mark, so people are making fun of my green snake, and I am like he's just shy, and all the girls are laughing at me, so I unsummoned my green water snake, and I summoned my chicken instead, but I still got no pants, and nobody seems to notice. So while we're waiting for the raid to form up, like, hey Tuna, check out my epic mount, and she says, awesome, I'm sure I could use an epic mount right now, so I says, oh yeah, where do you live, question mark, Jonah is ignoring you, then I hear this gunshot outside my house, and I'm like, WTF, but hillbillies be shooting for no reason, so I forgot about it in like 20 minutes. A ambulance comes to get my neighbors, and I tell Terraid I gotta go AFK, my neighbor's got shot, and I'm gonna loot his house before his wife comes home, and they are like, WTF, Pokey, we're about to kill Lucifer until I stay. So we fightin' Lucy, and she's got some planning to do, cause she's played a lot. I was stabbing her with a beer bottle I got from a midget in a bar fight. All the suds and the whole raid turns red, and then my enemies in traitors, so I am like killing them all and yelling, you tricked me, and it scarred them, cause they all then turned to my side again. So I am like to can play this game, so then I get this idea, cause I like to think inside the box and stuff. So I summon my mechanical Yeti and help me pawn and he's like Leroy Jenkins, and runs up and attacks this imp instead. Carl is like, Pokey, get your head out of your ass, stupid noob Yeti. So I hits my poof button and disappears, and the imps are like pissed off and wipes the raid, and I live cause rogues are uber nest, so I'm so smooth and I can't believe I'm not butter. So my guild leader DK sends me a tell saying why I want the raid, and I am like, they attacked me, they all gone red, and he says, dude, you are mind controlled, and I'm like, no I'm not, them voices in my head do not control me. So he boosts me out of the guild.
You gotta be really quiet. You see, I'm sneaking up on a night elf. I wouldn't want her to hear me. Would you? We're here on WOW Radio. You're listening to Blue Please with the band Total Biscuit. Thanks for letting me stop by and sing a little something special. send this baby home to bed.